Wise Child by Monica Furlong. Chapter 6. Flying. September was a golden month. My hair grew longer. My face, which had looked so white and pinched, was rosy, and I kept being surprised at how well and glad I felt, at how much energy I had. "I'm different now, aren't I?" I said to Juniper, who smiled. We went on blackberrying expeditions, just as I had done with my cousins. We also collected cloudberries and blueberries, wineberries and elderberries, cowberries and red currants, hindberries and barberries, sloes and rosehips, crowberries and guelder roseberries, hazelnuts and sweet chestnuts, the last of which meant going to a very secret place Juniper knew, where there was a single tree. I liked picking berries, not least because you could eat as you worked. My face was usually stained with juice that autumn. We also went to the shore several times and collected as much driftwood as Tilly could carry. We made a big pile of it in the yard. Juniper produced some thick woven material and began to make me a cloak. We were getting ready for the winter. The days were shorter and darker, and about midday we would light our fire. Milking Daisy in the late afternoons, I found my hands were cold, and I was glad to run back into the house. We came back from our food collecting expeditions with mud wading our shoes. Juniper had started to teach me Latin. "We will have more time for study when winter comes," she told me. Juniper was a wonderful teacher, partly because lessons got mixed in with everything else. She would draw a picture of the seas and countries around Britain so that I would understand the story of a voyage, or a love story, or a battle. And she would alternate a piece of history with a fairy story so that my attention remained sharp. I puzzled over what was real. "Did that really happen?" I would ask Juniper, "or is it just a story?" "Just a story," she would echo me mockingly. "Are fairies real?" I asked her once. "Of course," she said unhesitatingly. "Well, why can't I see them?" "There are many kinds of reality," Juniper explained. "Only silly people think there is only one kind. I don't live in the fairy reality, and neither do you. I live in 2 or 3 kinds of reality, though, and so, I expect, will you." She did not explain this, even when I begged her to. She could be quite obstinate about the things she would and would not talk about. "I might spoil something for you, you see," she said. One day she said casually, "Uni is coming soon." "Who's Uni?" I asked. "Uni looked after me when I was a bit older than you, a bit like the way I look after you." "Is she a witch too?" "If you want to put it like that, yes." "Was she kind to you?" "In a rather odd way, yes. I owe her my life, among other things." Even I was silenced by that, as also by the feeling that Juniper was struggling for words to tell me something else. "Do you trust me, wise child?" "Of course." So completely had Juniper captivated me that I found it difficult to believe I had ever been afraid of her. "Would you trust me if I told you to do something you really hated, that scared you?" "Why would you do that to me?" "Because you would be glad afterward. It would be very good for you. Only you wouldn't know that at the time, and I probably couldn't explain it to you." "I don't know," I said. This was a rather disturbing conversation. Another disturbing conversation was one I had with Coleman. We were lying out in the hayloft as usual. We played sieges up there, with one of us being the attacker and the other the defender, swiping each other with bundles of hay. When we were tired, we pulled the hay over ourselves to keep warm and talked of all sorts of things. My life with Juniper, his life in the village. Maeve the Fair wants to see you, he said suddenly. What? My heart turned over, with a feeling that might have been joy or might have been terror.